so annoying. Hey, I'm Angie.
And I'm Brian.
And we're
Happy Healthy Vegan.
And these are our top 5
worst arguments against veganism.
Hey, this is the first time we've been in the studio together like this in a while.
Apart from when you hopped in on my live stream last Friday.
Which is where we got the idea for this video. You guys don't want to miss out on the Friday night live streams. There's a lot of fun to be had.
Yeah, make sure you follow every Friday live stream. Yeah, but we had a couple people trying to troll us.
Yes.
They thought they had these brilliant arguments against veganism. It's like, no, we've heard all these time and time again.
Yeah, so Ryan has collected our top 5 worst arguments against veganism
of all time.
Starting with number 5, who are we going to hear from?
We're going to hear from none other than the wonderful Piers Morgan.
Oh boy.
Tell me the difference, ideologically, between me wanting a Christmas turkey and you guys eating bread.
Oh, really, Piers? Show us exactly how killing turkeys is anywhere on the same moral level as eating bread.
You're aware that in the process of wheat manufacture and bread making, that literally billions of insects get murdered. Billions.
Did he say billions?
All right, several things wrong with this attempted argument by Piers Morgan. First of all, I see this happen all the time. You see people who are very non-vegan try to define veganism on their own. They feel like they know better than the accepted definitions of veganism. The problem with this is they define veganism in such a way that it's just virtually impossible to follow. They demand complete 100% perfection. And if there's any cruelty anywhere in the world, veganism is null and void.
Yeah, so I guess basically he's saying if you can't save every single animal, don't save any animals.
And this is a classic example of a classical reasoning fallacy. It's known as the appeal to futility fallacy, which means, hey, we can't save every last bug. If a bug gets harmed, we should there's nothing you can do. Cruelty is just inherent in nature. So therefore, let's just kill billions of animals since, a bug is going to get harmed somewhere. So anyway, let's move on to number 4. This is a favorite of yours, actually.
Really?
Yeah, we've covered her before. Her name is Julie Bindel.
Oh,
they roll her out pretty much every year when Veganuary happens to debunk veganism. So let's check out her failed argument against veganism.
Let's.
The fact that nobody talks about how much time it takes to prepare these meals, to plan the meals, to do the shopping.
You want to know why they don't talk about that? Because it's not true.
Well, I think the response you gave to Julie originally was spot on. Let's just show that.
Oh boy. Are you kidding me, Julie Bindel? It does not take any longer to cook plants than dead animals. I mean, take into consideration how long it takes to make a Thanksgiving turkey. How many hours does that take compared to like some rice and potatoes and steamed carrots, etc., etc. All I'm hearing is a ton of really stupid excuses.
For women in particular, who have dependents, whether it's 3 small kids or an elderly parent, they can't afford either the time.
Like when you're at the market to buy your meat, I mean, you're probably already buying plants. So why would it take you any longer to push your cart to buy plants than it does to buy your eggs and meat and dairy? Is crazy talk. Damn, I went off on Julie Bindel.
I think she hit a nerve with you.
I'm a low-key embarrassed about my response now. But
fine.
The thing is, Julie Bindel she's just basically representing the argument that we get a lot. I see it a lot in the live stream too, that like veganism's too expensive. That, and also even your mom will say like it takes too long or it's too difficult to prepare vegan foods. So this is an argument that we get a lot. And in fact, I mean, that was a lot of the impetus for my cookbook. I wanted to make a cookbook that really showed like how easy it was to get, foods from any grocery store more or less and to prepare them at home, and trying to keep things low cost and really based on like, the kinds of foods that people would normally have, like even foods that you would have, like I told Julie, like right alongside your chicken or whatever. It's just that I try to make the meals hearty enough that you don't need to also include the chicken, the cow, the pig, etc., etc.
For those of you that think that vegan food is super expensive, like you can't afford it, I mean, Depends what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're buying like, heavily processed foods like Beyond Burgers or whatever, that costs a lot of money. But we eat primarily whole food plants. Like, please, you anti-vegans, tell me what foods are easier to subside on than, like, say, legumes, grains. I like bananas every day. Potatoes. You could get a 20-pound sack of potatoes at market for like $5-6.
Oh, yeah. So annoying.
So, speaking of annoying, let's move on to the number 3 worst argument against veganism.
What do you have for us now?
He was a guest on Joe Rogan. I forgot his name exactly, but he was a social media hunter.
Oh, no! I remember this one.
Really, everyone that's on the earth right now has come from a strong background of hunting. Even if you're the president of PETA or you're a vegetarian, the fact of the matter is, your relatives, your ancestors were strong hunters and gatherers, otherwise you wouldn't be here.
So because my ancient ancestors hunted, that means that I can't be vegan? Is that what you're saying?
Now in 2021, that's completely irrelevant. And this argument we hear often, various different versions of it. I sometimes call it my heritage or my ancestors argument.
Totally.
It's like everyone's ancestors and heritage traces back to meat eaters. Like, it's
That's
not
what he's saying.
exclusive to Asians or Europeans or what have you. So that argument just holds no water. But what's even worse, this argument, again, is a violation of a logical fallacy. It's the appeal to nature fallacy. Oh, what happens in nature is natural and therefore must be good. We ought to do what happens in nature. And again, it's a logical fallacy. It's not a justification to do anything. It's kind of funny how these people that use the appeal to nature fallacy are they pick and choose which ancient ancestor behaviors they want to emulate. I mean, do they poop in holes? And I'm sure
this guy might, actually. I think he probably does.
When he goes hunting, he probably does. I'm sure at home he's on his phone and computer and pooping on a normal toilet.
Speaking of this guy, dude, you quote what I said about this guy to me at home all the time.
Because, again, like Julie Bindel, he really triggered you.
I know.
Should we show that little
just
quote?
A little bit.
All right.
Aren't I just so... Look at my testosterone levels are off the charts. I'm so manly. Oh, my God.
I love that line. I know it's not your typical reaction, but you're a little more sophisticated and mature than that. But that was appropriate. He was asking for it.
I guess so. That's exactly why I stopped making YouTube videos. I'm like, I need to stop embarrassing myself. I'm going to get canceled.
Well, speaking of embarrassing oneself, the number 2 and number 1 positions here go to none other than Joe Rogan. He takes the cake. He has the world's largest podcasting platform. He spreads anti-vegan misinformation constantly, and he's said 2 of the stupidest things I've heard about veganism. So let's check them out.
All right, let's do it.
They fucking scream, man.
Right.
They make noise.
So what do you think Joe's talking about there? I didn't show the whole clip. It's a little out of context.
Pigs being slaughtered?
No. Believe it or not, this is why this is the number 2 worst argument against veganism. Joe Rogan is talking about plants. Yes, Joe Rogan honestly believes that plants have feelings, the capacity to have emotions.
Plants are a life form. And we have this thing in our head that because they don't move, they must be stupid.
They actually do move, but go off, Joe.
But they're in some way communicating with each other in a method that we don't totally understand.
Yeah.
Which fucks vegans hard.
Yeah, right.
That whole self-righteousness and all the craziness that comes along with being a vegan.
Oh, really? Self-righteousness and craziness comes along with being vegan? Really? Is that some kind of known fact, Joe? Or are you just projecting a little bit there?
Cruelty-free.
Yeah.
Not to those screaming plants that you can't hear. They fucking scream, man.
Right.
They make noise.
What are you smoking? And does that stuff scream when you smoke it?
Oh, snap! You got it so good.
Yeah, I mean, this is the plants have feelings argument. It's funny how you'll see very compassionate people like Joe Rogan, a hunter, guys who are perfectly fine with shooting and killing animals, all of a sudden become plant activists.
Yeah, it's like
when faced
Joe,
with veganism.
Aren't the animals that you're shooting screaming?
Yeah, literally. But he doesn't care. He all of a sudden just cares about the plants, doesn't care about the animals. So he doesn't really have his heart in this argument. Just something nice to say to make themselves feel better. First of all, let's get to how this is completely ridiculous.
Yes.
Plants first of all, they don't have mouths or any way to vocalize a scream, but even if they did, they're lacking some crucial biological features that would allow one to feel pain and scream, namely having, say, a brain and a central nervous system. It's actually physically 100% impossible for any creature lacking those critical features to experience any kind of emotional life whatsoever. It's completely absurd to say a blade of grass experiences pain, experiences pleasure, has hopes and ambitions. And I'm sure Joe gets his lawn mowed too, So think of all the infinite pain going on there.
There you go. Well, that was quite the doozy. I cannot imagine. What is your number one most annoying argument against veganism pick?
Good point. Annoying, because the plants have feelings argument is probably the wackiest, zaniest of the bunch. But this number one does take the cake for being the most annoying, and I like to call it the combine harvester argument.
Oh no.
And when they're using those combines, they are grinding up bunnies and rats and mice and killing countless bugs.
This is the damn combine tractor argument.
The combine argument, that ranting Aussie Isaac Butterfield's using.
It will, without fail, decapitate hundreds of little animals, including rabbits, little fawn.
There actually have been studies done to see if these combines suck up a bunch of bunnies and fauna.
Yeah.
And let's check it out. So this 4-year study radio tracked and live trapped field mice to see what would happen to them after a combine harvester went through their field. And they found that the combine harvester had itself little direct effect on the mice. We often walk through fields that have squirrels and rodents and other little animals like that. Is it really easy to walk up and touch them and bunnies, pet them and stuff?
No, I'm lucky to get photos and videos, as you know.
Yeah, with the zoom lens.
Exactly.
My point is this. Little animals like this aren't dumb. When they see harm coming, like in the way of a human, or imagine a super loud, giant combine harvester, you think they're just going to stand there, wonder what that thing is. Should I just wait here for it? No, they run. And this is what the scientific studies show as well, that there's little effect on the field mice.
Yeah. And yet, that has done nothing to stop these people from saying, here you saw two extremely annoying guys, by the way, that are bringing up that argument, but we see it all the time too, like in articles and in the live stream, and many people do make this argument, which is a great reason for putting it at the number one most annoying, because people really think this is a slam dunk. And the other thing that's so annoying about this argument is that they act like all of vegans' food come from fields, monoculture fields
with combine harvesters.
In
fact, most of the food we buy doesn't come from that kind of agribusiness production which utilizes combine harvesters.
And that's because these types of fields are most often grown in order to feed animals.
Food grown for livestock feed. Vast majority of corn and soy grown in the United States is used as livestock feed, not for humans.
So therefore, these guys are responsible not only for the deaths that they think are happening from the combine harvester, but also the deaths of the animals that eat the food from the combine harvested fields. So if anything, it makes them more guilty and
more deaths,
less guilty. So I'm just saying.
I also want to point out too that this number one argument here, the combine harvester argument, circles back to the number 5 worst vegan argument that we showed today, because both share an appeal to futility fallacy. Remember that?
Yes.
There can't be any zero harm in food production. A rodent might get sucked up. So let's just kill billions of animals, since you can't have zero harm.
So, how did Ryan do? Were there any arguments he left out that you would have had in your top 5?
I'm sure. So if you think I left out a great, horrible anti-vegan argument, please let me know down below in the comments. Share.
Who knows? If there's enough of them, maybe we could do a follow-up video.
Part
5
2.
More super annoying arguments against veganism.
I'm down. Be sure to hit like, share this video, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell when you do, so you get notified when we have new content out here on YouTube.
Yeah, and like I mentioned at the top of the show, the idea for this video came out of Friday Night Livestreams. So if you join the live stream, you could possibly pitch an idea that will become a future video here on Happy Healthy Vegan.
It has happened.
Oh, yeah.
All right, thanks, guys. So we'll see you soon.
Fall to the ground. You've got me spinning circles, round and round again, spinning till I'm dizzy. Where will this all end? Where will it end?
Is that an argument that you hear a lot?
Yes, you'd be surprised how many non-vegans love to define veganism in an impossible to follow manner.
Ah, man, I don't know how you've been dealing with it all these years, babe.
You just give them the true information.
I guess so.
Yeah, so anyway.